Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MultiDimensional MD. I'm Dr. Arlene Diamco, and my mission is to help bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in tangible and practical ways for you. Each week, I'm sharing the patterns that I've been noticing in case it helps you too. Because often, like through my practice and interactions, I'll just see trends. And right now, everything is changing so rapidly. So before, maybe I would see trends over a month, or you see like seasonal trends. But now it's like every week I'm seeing shifts. And so I want to keep you updated on what I'm seeing and and just give you tips and things that could help you as well. So, in general, it's been a heavier week. As the weather continues to transition, the air feels physically heavier to me. And that's even though it's been like windy and gorgeous outside. It's like there's this denseness. And so maybe you're feeling that heaviness in your life as well. And that's regardless of what's going on, because it's easy to understand why you would feel that way if there are big happenings, but it's also possible for small things to feel a bit more right now. So feel heavier than they might usually. And there might be a tendency to want to numb out because it is so easy to numb out. And sometimes it feels better when we're numbing out. We're kind of like going out of our bodies energetically, more into spirit, but kind of dissociating a bit. And that is not living with full presence. And I mean, you can recognize things that you use in your life to numb out, whether it's with sugar, alcohol, medications, drugs, but other food, or even just daydreaming. I used to do that all the time in high school. If I didn't want to feel like being in the class, I would just completely daydream and make up a whole other story in my head. And it was like my body was there, but I wasn't there. But you can also numb out with just too much social media or binge watching on TV. So it's a balance, right? It doesn't mean you can't have any of these things, but it's always a balance. And being more present, being more fully in your body feels a lot better too, because it's when we have that mind body disconnect, mind body spirit disconnect, really, then we don't feel whole. So the point is to kind of reconnect mind and body so you can feel more like yourself. You can feel more grounded and rooted and enjoy life more. And that's even if there's hard things going on. Deep down, we all know how to be healthy. We all know what we need, but sometimes there's this big veil over it and it's all fuzzed out. So it's great to have these reminders to reconnect with ourselves. And I mean, again, mind, body, spirit aligning, that is how you feel whole. So I'm going to go through 10 tips, more basic tips to help you get back in your body and align your mind and body when you're feeling disconnected. So, the first thing is to notice your breathing. It sounds really simple, and it can be, but if you're not used to doing it, it can feel really awkward at first. The first time I started noticing my breathing was not until I was in medical residency. And I took a yoga class, and a lot of us were new, and so we'd be looking around the room because we felt kind of silly sitting there quietly. You're not used to being quiet, you're not used to sitting still with yourself. So but set aside even like 5 minutes, just start to notice how you're breathing. Are there any catches in your breath? Because often people are breathing up high. It's that and then it just stays up there. So notice, like, okay, you don't even have to try to move it yet. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah, there's some tension there. Or maybe it doesn't have that depth to it. Or maybe it's a bit more shallow feeling. There's tension. It could be more on one side or the other. See how your ribs feel. See how your chest feels. See how that air feels coming in through your nose, ideally through your nose, and down your throat, into your windpipe, into your lungs, and feel. So notice all of those nuances. And then next is to notice your thoughts and emotions. and what triggers them too. So it's easier to practice this when things are not so intense, but I'm feeling like people are really needing, there's a lot of intensity right now. So that's okay, because even if a lot of things are triggering you right now, it's okay, because what triggers you shows you exactly where the healing is. So when you notice something triggering you, just bring your awareness to, how am I thinking? How am I feeling? And then take that and notice, where do you feel that in your body? You don't have to do anything about it. This is just a neutral witnessing. What do you think? Maybe you feel angry, maybe you feel sad, maybe you feel really anxious. Just notice without the need to do anything about it. We were just kind of holding ourselves in this very loving nest. And then take that, and where do you feel that in your body? It could be with the breath that you were noticing before, but it could be elsewhere. Early in life, for me, used to notice that in my digestion, and that is probably something that I still feel if I don't return myself to balance on a regular basis. So when I was growing up, I would get belly aches, and sure, it could have had to do with the food I was eating, but that was like my Achilles heel. And then later on, it started to transition, like in college and medical school. I would start to get reflux. I would start to get more bloated feeling, and so it's get a little bit more sensitive to what I was eating, but I was also a lot more stressed then. So notice where it is that maybe you hold things or carry things in your body. And again, you don't necessarily have to do anything. The first step is just bringing your awareness there, because with your awareness, it's like you're telling yourself you're already worth paying attention to. You're already worth bringing your presence to yourself. And what you're doing is you're telling yourself, I love you no matter what. I'm willing to be here with you no matter what you're going through. And then the next step would be to breathe into that area, that loving breath that you first started noticing. So, whether you feel the tension in your chest, whether it's in your belly, maybe you have a headache or neck, shoulder aches, start to breathe into that area without any expectation of what's going to happen. Adding your breath there is like that warm hug to your body. Your mind, you're like willing your mind to go there and give yourself that nice embrace. And this can be, that is what I do. Those first four steps is what I do whenever I feel like there's emotion or just feeling triggered. But I also do that when I'm feeling okay, or like in between patients, or um, eh, just to practice in the day. You don't have to feel really emotional to do it. And it's much easier if you practice it before then. But even if you haven't practiced it, go ahead and walk yourself through those things. You can rewind and start and just go follow with me and do it with me, and see how that shifts it for you. Now, it's okay. You may listen, and sometimes it's easier for us to listen than other times, and it's okay. You have the next moment to start over, so you don't get it one moment. Don't worry, you're in a fresh new moment. And to continue to just build on that, just start to add in all your senses. This is like a very intimate relationship with yourself, to bring yourself fully in your body and to start to appreciate all your senses. And, now with COVID, it's like people didn't really notice their smell, but now, when it's taken away, you realize how valuable it was to you. But I mean, how many times a day do you ever really think about your sense of smell, and unless you've had COVID and can't smell? So, yeah, notice, what are you seeing around you? What are you hearing? What is that taste in your mouth when you eat? And or even when you go outside, it's like you can taste the air. When the weather starts to transition, you can smell that fresh crispness in the air. So Just bring your awareness to appreciate all of those small changes and variations through your day. And then you can, to help ground yourself more, just quickly notice the bottoms of your feet. What do you feel if you're standing? What's that pressure you feel underneath you? And that's the gravity holding you to earth. And so that's like the earth always loving you, always giving you this hug and wanting to help you ground. And then if you pay attention even more, you might even be able to notice that vibration of the earth. Maybe it's easier if you're outside and you have a safe space where you can take off your shoes and just put your bare feet on the ground. Everything in life has a vibration to it. So it's like feeling the difference between your energy and then the energy of the earth, and then seeing how that can connect more. So just bringing your awareness to that lower half of your body can really help ground you. And then you can start to notice your movement. This is like a very simple moving meditation. So if you have a hard time sitting still, then moving can feel a lot easier place to start learning how to meditate. Remember, everything is relative. So even if you're still, you're actually moving a lot. Your breath is moving, your blood is moving, your lymph system, your cerebral spinal fluid. There's all this movement that is keeping you alive. And then there's all this bigger movement too. So again, when you're paying attention to your feet and that connection to the earth, it's so strange to think, but we are moving with the Earth's rotation and orbit around the sun. So the Earth is moving at about 1,000 miles per hour. And that's kind of cool to think about because to us, it feels really still. So, so many things are relative. So even when life feels like there's so much movement and chaos, there's a way to return to your center and be in a stillness despite all the things that are going around you. So one way is to move through life with awareness, with this like gentle, non-judgmental awareness. And you can start that with practicing being aware of your movement. Even if you're just going outside for a stroll, like feel how your arms and legs are moving. Feel that through if you do any exercise, whether it's like yoga or tai chi or qigong or going to the gym for a workout, that's fine too. Just notice your movement. And then combining that more still, can you also notice your breathing and movement together and somehow connect your breathing with movement? This is so simple, yet it can reestablish that mind-body connection. And this was the basis of a kids meditation course that we did at All Worlds Health Academy. It's online. And it was just combining simple movements with breathing. And it really helped kids to just, again, align that mind body so that maybe they could focus more, feel more calm, more balanced. And that can set the course for the day or the hour or the class, whatever you have going on for you. And this is the purpose of those healing exercises that I mentioned: yoga, qigong, tai chi. And so it's possible, yes, to do these exercises without being aware of your breathing and being aware of your movements and without connecting the two together, but you won't get the same benefits. Like if you just did the yoga movements without any awareness of how you're moving, without the awareness of breathing, you won't get the same benefits. You won't get that alignment, mind body, where you are feeling whole. You might work your muscles and exercise your muscles, but then you're just staying on that physical layer. And even though you could be physically very strong, you could still not feel whole. And that's where people are going to the doctors and saying like, I don't feel right. And they get checked out and everything checks out okay. And you say, oh, you're the picture of health. And they're like, yeah, but I still don't feel right. That's that mind, body, spirit disconnect. So if you want to keep diving deeper, so all of these initial things, I mean, those are so foundational. but this is multidimensional living. And so I love to always dive even deeper into spirit. And you're already doing that when you're bringing your awareness to breathing and to all the things I mentioned above. But next, ask to attune to the consciousness of God, of source, the universe, however you feel comfortable saying it. And of course, that is easier said than done. So you can break it down into these mind, body, spirit layers. So, start to breathe in that vibration of the universe. Breathe in that consciousness of God, of the divine. So with your breath, just add that intention to it. And then you can also ask to align your will with God's will. So I like to do this every morning. And just to set it as intention for the day, you might follow, you might not. A lot of times we will know a direction that will make the day easier for us, but it's like you just can't help reacting and just can't help like exploding. That's okay. You will have the next moment to readjust, realign, and this is what these exercises are for. So, and then as you're breathing it in, you're asking to align your will with that of the universe, and then also feel it in your cells. So it's not enough to just leave it in your breathing. It's not enough just to leave it in your thought. You want to feel it. So it's that emotion that sort of creates this magnet. It's like you have this electromagnetic vibration that you send out to the universe. So it really helps your heart field align and connect. So feel it in your cells, feel it in your energy field, feel it all around you. And it can be hard to know how to feel, but all you have to do is ask. You set the intention, and that it's like you're setting your compass for the day. So, without that, it's like more likely to go awry. But if you set it and you start your day with that, then you see it can you can go more smoothly. It's like as the twig say in osteopathy, as the twig is bent, so does the tree grow. So if you're just off a little bit, if you keep taking steps in that direction, it sort of feels like you're getting like more and more off center. But if you set your compass and then you keep taking steps in that direction, then even without knowing how, it will start to reveal itself. Your day will just unfold in a way that is needed for you. And I mean, even if you start to go off balance, it's like your life is telling you to try to get towards balance. Those are the triggers. So when you're off balance and you're feeling those triggers, your triggers, remember, are telling you how to realign. They're saying where to pay attention. They're saying where you need a hug and where you need to bring a more neutral, loving awareness. Where you really need to say to yourself, like, "I love you no matter what." So don't forget, wherever you are, if you feel like you're aligned more or less or feeling way off balance, no matter where you are, you're worthy of being loved. You deserve, of course, your own self-love. And so to tell yourself that no matter what, see if you can practice saying that in the mirror. And I used to do these exercises in the very beginning. And when I first did it, I looked in the mirror, I was like surprised by how awkward it was to be able to look at yourself in a really loving way. Because the mirror in the beginning, when I was like in high school and college, it used to feel like, where you prepped for the day, where you were supposed to look for what you needed to fix for the day, like brush your hair or make yourself up. And so when I did these exercises to look in a loving way, in a non-judgmental way, it was such a different way of looking in the mirror. So that's another thing that you could practice and see if you could just like soften your gaze to yourself, soften the furrowed eyebrows of judgment, and tell yourself, I love you no matter what. And this is what you need. This is what your family needs. And it has to start with you so you can be that kind of vibration, that light out for people around you. Of course, if everything is really intense for you, there are so many modalities that can help to get mind body more aligned, whether it's EFT tapping, EMDR, brain spotting, cranial osteopathy, tension and trauma release exercises, lots of things. So don't forget that I'm here for you. There's other people there to help you, and you can do this. So don't forget to tell yourself, do it right now. I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. I love you no matter what. And see if you can feel it and mean it in every cell of your body. So, thank you so much for being here with me today. As always, please like or subscribe, comment if you have any questions, or let me know that you're here. And if there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, then let me know. I'd love to take suggestions. And have a beautiful rest of your week. I will see you next time at 11 a.m. EST with more updates from the week. So, hey, Nomad, good to see you. Lots of love to all of you. Take care.